So hey guys, welcome back for this, the last in the update video series for iEquip during development. I have to apologise straight off and say I am absolutely stuffed with a cold, so if I sound worse than usual, that's why. Anyway, I'm sure you've gathered by now, if you've been following the videos, that when I say at the end of a video that I'll be back in the next week or so with an update, what I really mean is I'll be back in the next month. And when I say that there's only one or two features left to finish off and show you, well, let's just take a look. So this is a fresh start. I've set up an inventory on this character. I haven't enabled iEquip as yet. Let me just have a quick look through here and I'll show you a few things which will become relevant in just a minute or two when I show you some of these final set of features. So if we look in our potions queue, we have 6 different poisons in there, various things, and we have a good selection of health, stamina and magicka potions. We've got a range of food and drinks. We've got a selection of soul gems, and we have also got a good selection of weapons, many of which are enchanted in various different states of charge. And with that little teaser, let's just jump back out and get straight in and enable iEquip. Just turn off the controller so that we can do this with our keyboard. We've got an auto close and reopen MCM thing to finish working out. So for now, I'll just do this manually. Okay, so I just need to quickly jump back in, do this once more for it to finish enabling itself. And while we're in here, let's just turn on Pro mode. Makes me chuckle every time that. Dear, I'm such a kid. Anyway, right, so we've now got Pro mode enabled, and I'm just going to enable a couple of things that I need for some of the things I'm going to show you. Don't think I need an. Oh yeah, I might as well show you this actually working now. And yeah, that's it for now. There we go. Okay, so first thing you'll see is when you first enable the widget now, you will automatically have items appearing in your consumable and poisons queue. Reason for that is we've got a few new settings in, excuse me, not in customizable camera, not in customizable camera, in iEquip. Over here, let's just set this up to 12 while I'm in here and I remember. Enabled by default, we have got auto add poisons and auto add food and drink, and up at the top, disabled by default, mainly because it's not actually implemented yet, but will be at launch, is auto add on equipping. So basically this top one here, if you equip an item that iEquip doesn't already know about, rather than just ignoring it, it will now, if you have this set on, it will add it to your queue where you've just equipped it, and it should cycle the widget onto that so that it matches what you've just equipped. These two that are enabled by default, auto add poisons does exactly what it says. It will initially scan through your inventory, find all your poisons, sort them alphabetically and add them to your poison queue. And then as you brew or pick up or buy or steal any other poisons and they're added to your inventory, it will add them into the queue, resort it, and it means that you shouldn't really have to do anything with your poison queue other than use it. Likewise, food and drinks are automatically added to your consumables queue. If you've got this hard limit queue size turned off, it will allow your poisons and consumables queues just to grow indefinitely. So if you're into spamming poisons or cooking an awful lot, then I would enable this hard limit queue size, because it'll never let it grow above what you've set to your maximum. But anyway, auto add poisons, auto add food and drink, that's exactly what you're seeing in these two slots here. So if I cycle through my consumables, you'll see we've got our potion groupings in the first three, and then we move into the food and drink that you saw in the inventory earlier. Last thing in the queue being the ale, then we're back to health. And if I go through my poisons, you'll see I've added a load of custom icons for poisons now and some custom colours just to make this queue a little bit more interesting. So we start at caustic oil, end at fire oil. And there we go, back to that. If I add some items, hang on a sec. If I add some items in, where are we? Here we go. Look, somebody's left some poison lying around. If I just add these in, that should now, if I cycle my poison queue, there we go, been added to the poison queue and it's been resorted. And again, if we pick up this mead and apple stew and I cycle the consumables, you should find at the end we've now got blackbriar mead and apple and cabbage stew in that queue. So there you go, it's auto managing those queues for you. Spin back round so that we can see them. There we go. Right, let's just jump into inventory and add some other bits and pieces so that I can show you the rest of the features. To add items, spells, powders, size, blah, blah. Here we go. Okay, so let's just add several things to our queues here. We'll have that in left, right, and let's add all of our enchanted items. And we'll chuck the shield in. Right, and then if we just cycle from on my Dawnguard War Axe, Dawnguard Rune Axe, oops, too slow. Right, and we'll just find our shield. There we go. Right, so as you can see in the widget now, we have got our own enchantment charge meters. I have my Dawnguard Rune Axe equipped, which is full of charge, and there we go, full charge meter. If I just cycle to some of the other enchanted weapons, There we go. Low charge. What have I got in here? It's come down the way it was before this lot, wasn't it? Here we go. So, actually, let me just move the widget up a little bit to make it a little bit easier to see, and this will also let you see edit mode changes. Right, as you can see in edit mode now, the widget looks an awful lot more cluttered because it automatically now shows you everything that is available in the widget so that you can edit everything. Let's just move it up to there and we'll just shrink it a little bit. Right, there we go. Okay, so charge meter settings. Let's just jump in because there's a whole heap of options for this for you. So by default they use the vanilla blue colouring, charge meters, there we go, charge fill colour. You can enable fade out, so if you want them to show on equip and then fade out, you can set that in here. And as you can see, there's a raft of features that you can use. If you want to change your fill colours, say you don't like the default blue and you want what? Neon pink. Let's have neon pink. Screw you, Bethesda. You're blue. You can have neon pink. There you go. You can change the fill direction for them for left and right. So if you want them to go in the opposite directions, in fact, if you want them to come from the middle outwards, let's try that. You can have center fill if you like. There you go. And another cool thing that you can do if you're, let's just set them back to where they want it to be, left. You can enable a gradient fill. So let's just pick a slightly more sensible colour. Let's go for what we go for? A fade from purple to beige. Let's go for that and see what that looks like. Can't really see it there, but that's fading from purple into beige there. Gradient fill if you want it, just because I can. I'm just going to muck about with these for a little while so that you can see all of these different settings. I quite like the orange. Let's go for orange. These other settings in here, you can muck about with them as much as you like. By default, when you run out of charge, you'll get the same charge meter flash that you get with vanilla. It'll default to flashing in the colour of your normal fill. If you'd rather customize it even further, you can enable a custom flash colour and set a completely different colour than your fill, and it'll flash in that colour. You can have it set to change colour on low charge, and you can set the threshold for that. So if you want a visual warning when you drop below whatever 20% is default, it will change colour automatically to red, and I think I can probably show you that. Here we go, orange there. If I just come back down to this one, I think this is the empty one, there you go. You can only just see it there, but that is actually red because it's low charge. There you go. I'm just going to go back up to one that's got a wee bit more charge in it. However, if you're bored with standard enchantment charge meters, how about, rather than meters, you have some funky little dynamic fill soul gems. So there you go. If you don't like meters, you can have soul gems that will show your current charge as a fill, like that. It's pretty cool, isn't it? I quite like these. They're quite cool. You've got a slightly more restricted set of options for the soul gems. You can set your fill color, you can set your flash color, you can set your low charge, but you cannot use gradient fill with soul gems. They're just not big enough for it, and these two are only for the charge meters. They're not relevant to them, the soul gems. I'm just going to jump back to meters for the next bit because it's easier to show you on. Okay, so that's the meters showing in the widget and the various options you've got for that, but along with that you also now have the hotkey recharging. If you remember, for your left and right keys you have single press for cycle, double press to apply your selected poison, and you now have long press to recharge the weapon. Before I show you in action, there are a few settings in here which relate, so let's just have a look at them. These top three ones here for soul gem use options. So basically you can select whether to use the largest soul that will fit into your weapon for whatever the required charge is, or you can use up your smaller souls first, even if they don't refill them. You can choose whether to use oversized souls, so if your weapon needs more charge than a petty soul, for example, but not as much as a lesser soul, if you allow use oversized souls, it will use the lesser one and it'll just waste a little bit. And if you're using one of the soul gem overhauls, that allows you to partially fill larger gems and then top them up, then you can stop iEquip from using those partially filled ones here, and they will remain in your inventory for you to top up and use when they're full. So here we go, we've got our Sword of Burning and our Sword of Sparks both needing recharge, so if I just long press on my left slot key first of all, there we go, and that's recharged, and same on my right one, there we go. If we just cycle to another one, if you want to see that again, because I think these look really cool, we've got recharge there and recharge there. I have to say a huge thank you to Power of 3 for these enchantment recharge effects that we've got here. He's also working on the poison application effects as well, which will be in for release, but massive thanks to him for creating these awesome new effects that we've got here. Let's just take one last look at them because they're so cool. And to my buddy Kojak for the sound effects that go along with it. Couldn't do this stuff without you guys, thank you very much. So there we go, that's it. We've got enchantment meters, we've got dynamic soul gems, we've got hotkey recharging, so even less need to go in and out of your inventory now. Edit mode we had a quick look at there. There's a few other changes in edit mode. If I just jump quickly back in, I'll let you have a quick look at this. You may not even have noticed this before, but originally when we applied the blue highlight and cycled, it would destroy any colour in the icons until you saved and reloaded. Well, no more. The colours are preserved using a different method of applying that overlay colour, and it means that you don't lose anything. As I touched on earlier on, when you now go into edit mode, it shows absolutely everything that that the widget contains. So icons, names, counts, the poison indicators, poison names, attribute icons, the enchantment meter, the soul gem. It all shows in there. There's tons of stuff, and you can move and edit them as you want, including your meters if you want to rotate your meters. If you'd rather have them vertically, you can do that. Won't do any damage. It's just in fact, let's just hit 0 to reset that. Should just put it back to where it was. There we go. Right, what else have we got for you? Edit mode. Oh, backgrounds. Yeah, I knew there's something else. There was a setting in here which I don't know if any of you picked up on way back, which was under miscellaneous options, which was background style. It wasn't live until now, however you can now choose whether you want any sort of background on your widgets. So there you go. You can have square, you can have immersive HUD if you want. You can have square without the border, round with a border, round without a border. There you go. If you fancy backgrounds on your widgets, they're there. Oh, my dexterity's fantastic, isn't it? Let's just turn them back off again. Okay, let's just take a look at some of the updates to the bound weapons support in the widget. So if I just find my bound sword, this should dual equip. Here we go. And I will just so if you remember when we first looked at these bound weapon animations, I said that if the charge on your bound weapons runs out after a couple of minutes or whatever it is, that the widget would animate out. Well, now if you unequip those, or sheath them rather, the widget will also animate back to the spell icons. So if I stick them away, we're back to spells, cast them again, back to swords. I still really like this. In addition to that, if we just go back to my shield, and if we take the, where is it, bound battle axe, that's the one. Here we go. So if I now cast a two-handed bound weapon, it also now fades out the left hand icon in the widget, just like a non-bound weapon would. Here we go. So that is the bound weapon stuff all complete. You've got the left icon fade out when two-handed equipped, you've got bound ammo mode, you've got the animate out on unequip and sheath. So that's it, it's all feature complete. One thing that I will show you actually while I've got a bound weapon equipped is that since the last video I have completely remade every single icon that I equip uses. Let me just select that. Where are we? Here we go, that one. So every single icon in the widget is now vector format, so it is fully scalable without losing any definition, which is far better. There we go. Okay, one thing that I just want to update you on from the last video, if you remember when we took a look at QuickHeal, it didn't quite go as expected, and when we QuickHealed with a potion, it also equipped the QuickHeal healing spell. So just to show that that has been improved upon, we currently don't have Prefer Magic selected in the MCM, and if I just get to anything other than health potions on here so that you can see it works no matter where you are. If you remember, QuickHeal is a triple press on your consumable key. So if I just triple press there, there we go, it's found and consumed our strongest health potion, which was our consummate potion of health, and it's reduced the count by 1, so there you go. And if we alternatively go in and select to Prefer Magic, and we'll just have it dual equip. So again, triple press on our consumable key, and there we go. Dual casting healing spells. And so we come to this, the final feature in the final video before release. Now you guys will no doubt have heard of a developer across on the Nexus, goes by the name of Azab. If you haven't heard his name, you'll certainly know the mods. He is the dev behind moreHUD and moreHUD Inventory Edition, and he has been kind enough to provide us an interface between moreHUD Inventory Edition and iEquip. So as you add items to your queues, you will now get an indicator in the item card in your inventory menu which shows which queues the items have been added to. So we've got obviously right, left, both, and in the case of consumables or poisons, just a single queue. It shows that they're in your queues. Everything in potions, poisons and consumables are obviously in our queues because we're allowing iEquip to auto manage them. But yeah, there we go. moreHUD Inventory Edition support as well. This just cannot get any better. Thank you, Azab. It really is extremely kind of you. Well, that's about it, guys. Just before I go, I would like to say a massive thank you to everybody who's had any involvement in the mod over the last 6 months. I will give full credits to everyone who's contributed or been involved on the mod page when it releases, but before I go, I would like to say a specific thank you to just a few guys. So to Fudgy Duff for the iEquip SKSE plugin, to Power of 3 for the new visual effects, to Real Antithesis for spending weeks teaching me how to use J containers, Neverlost, who for the last month or so has been working very hard to optimize and refactor some of my very novice code, everybody over at our Skyrim Mods development channel on Discord, and lastly to my good buddy Kojak for the shits and giggles and putting up with my endless rants and suggestions and never quite getting things finished. Thank you all, guys, and thank you all for taking the time to watch. I hope you've enjoyed these development videos. I really hope you enjoy iEquip when you get your hands on it. We've got a short period of closed beta testing to do, and then we will be getting out to you hopefully at some point in the first half of next month. As always, please feel free to leave any comments you like, pop over onto the Discord channel and join us there. There may be a few minor updates over there between now and release. And other than that, thank you again.